We are now live on the Work and Play podcast, having a really, really dope conversation. Real dope day, first of all. And if you can see this brown hunk of chocolate sitting here having a conversation with us, we get ready to really just kind of turn up, okay? So now we're broadcasting from Instagram for just a while. Y'all come on over to YouTube, click the link in my bio, join us on YouTube because we're having a conversation about the Work and Play podcast. Episode 94 was with Mr. Darius Boone, the digital beauty coach. Yes. If I was a DJ, yes. First of all, honey, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I've been having a really good Monday. I've been taking it easy today, not putting too much pressure on myself.
Come on. Lately, you've been sharing so much good content lately. And honestly and truly, I've begun to appreciate what you're doing for the beauty community. Not just the beauty community. Let's add to it entrepreneurship because you
It's
hold no
two for
punches.
one. It's 2 for 1. It's so hard, bruh. It's so hard to just talk to beauty professionals because I feel like the stuff that I try to push to them, I want to say, hey, beauty professionals, hey, entrepreneurs, because it goes hand in hand.
But like you said, it's one and the same. And your journey really tells the tale. You got it out the mud. You started in your car. You literally figured out how you were going to make sales, going house to house to house, and then you figured it out. So now that you're in this space, right?
Yeah.
First of all, catch us up on what's been going since we recorded the last episode.
Oh my gosh, so much has been going on. And I'm happy to talk about it simply because I feel like a lot of people don't talk about this in business. So since we recorded that episode, I have really had to reevaluate and kind of tweak my business model some. I am a firm believer of trying, then testing, then tweaking. So I've been doing a whole lot of trying, testing, and tweaking. So I have had to change up how my business model works some just so that I could be more comfortable in it. The thing about entrepreneurship and being a service provider is we serve other people all the time that sometimes we don't serve ourselves. So just getting my business in a place where I'm comfortable and I'm not stressed out so much.
Yeah, and speaking of which, now I know for sure because we talked about this before we actually went live. But you are setting up a new business model where you're focusing on 1111 extension in a different way,
Yeah.
and then you're also setting up your personal life and with the Airbnb come
Mhm.
up, and then also being able to reprioritize what you're doing or repurpose your home. So talk a little bit about how you learned that you were going to find like a new balance in business. What was going on with it beforehand?
What was going on with it beforehand was just I felt like I just was overwhelmed constantly. For me, I had to realize through my trying and testing and tweaking that I am more of a creative. Like, yes, I know business. People know me for business, but my cores is I'm artistic. I'm a creative. So I would rather instead of outsourcing the creative stuff, I would much rather outsource the administrative business stuff because I feel like someone else can handle that and let me just focus on the creative aspect, and that is what's going to generate sales. But basically, what I'm doing right now, like you just kind of summed it up, I'm redesigning my life the way I want it to be. Like, I don't want to be stuck anywhere. I don't want to be stationary. And I feel like the moves that I'm making right now is going to be just very beneficial for other hairdressers to see because we're always tied to that chair. So me being able to still be in the beauty industry, still generate 6 figures, 7 figures, whatever, and be able to move around and have the freedom is just going to like really let people know that we're in an age of it's a new age of stylists. Like it doesn't look the same.
Yes. Can we talk about that confidence? Can we talk about that confidence, please? When
Yeah.
did you become so confident in what you're doing? Not just in business, but in the way you look, the way you carry yourself, right? I remember seeing your content kind of shift over the last couple of months. And so,
Mhm.
like, how do you stay confident in the way that you present yourself?
The fact that you think that I am means that I'm doing a good job because I'm definitely, I would say I'm confident in myself, but I definitely have things that break my spirit and like really have me thinking otherwise. But I go back to that Bible and I remember God's promises for my life. And, that really gives me my confidence. It's like I start to get closer with God and it's just like, didn't I tell you? Didn't I? Have we not been through this before? And then that gives me my confidence. And I guess that small seed just it goes over everything because I'm confident in how I look sometimes, and I'm confident in what I present sometimes, but honestly, it's just faith and just the fact that I know at the end of the day, it's me and God, and He got my back, and we got a good relationship, and I feel solid in it.
Yeah. 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 I was thinking, oh, we got some likes in the house. Thank y'all so much for joining us on YouTube, Facebook,
What's
and
up, YouTube
Instagram.
people?
And for those of y'all who are still on Instagram, come on and join us on YouTube. We're having a really good conversation with Mr. Darius Boone. For those of you guys who are watching right now, have you ever bought a wig, right? Watched the content or just really enjoyed the come up on Instagram while y'all watching Darius like just do his home, go out on Friday nights, shoot on Monday
I
night?
do not be out on Friday nights, man. I'll be at the house.
Hold on, wait a minute. Tell me somebody has not caught him doing a little twerk alert on on Instagram. I'll be like, oh, I'll be enjoying it. And then the next minute he gives you really good motivating tips on how you got to stay focused. Do not give up. Talk about how you're going to actually make money in your business. And then we have a little bit of fun on the side.
That's exact. You know what? I'm glad that you peeped that. So what I'm telling people now, like people who ask me for advice with content and social media and just branding is you have to be very, very well-rounded nowadays. You can't and I see so many people drive like business into the ground. And I mean, I'm down for promotion. I never feel like you should not be promoting your business. Mm-hmm. But some people are so serious on there and they try to make it seem like they're not serious. They do little dances and they talking about their business. And what people want to see who you are. Yeah. And for me, I'm a multifaceted man. Like, yes, I love business. Yes, I love God. Yes, I love personal development. Yes, I like to shake my ass. So I give you every part of me. And I feel like people rock with that.
They do. Even to the extent that you even share your bad days, right? Yeah. You don't just come and share the wins. You share the bad, you share the twerk, you share the business advice, and then you say, y'all, I just don't have it today.
I'm having a day, yeah. Absolutely.
So Absolutely. As a content creator, and it's not just about content creation, because I do know what you mean. I'll be honest, coming from corporate America, I'll definitely have, and I still have to shed those layers of professionalism, right? Because truth be told, we went out, did the open mic night, but I'll come out and twerk with you too. It's just like
people always twerk at home. I'm not about to be doing this too much romp to be out in these streets like that.
Hold on, wait a minute. So how did you remember when you said that you wanted to get realigned with like the way you wanted to design your life?
Yeah.
What was your pivot, right? Like you were showing up a certain way, and I'm assuming you there was a decision where you said, you know what, I'm going to show more of myself. Or was it always natural like that?
It has kind of always been natural like that from Instagram. With social media, even in my earlier days of being on social media, you only get a little twerk in my stories. Now, I used to do, let me tell you something, Ariel. I feel like I'm a really good person with marketing. So before I would have a sale, I would twerk down on Instagram, and then I would literally put the sale information in the caption. So, because at the end of the day, humans are humans. People like butts, whether it's men or women, whatever. And some people think like, look at him, he's trying to get attention. Yes, I do. Call to action right there. So I used to do it like that. But as I've gotten older, I try not to do that. But if I need to, if I'm a couple of grand away from reaching my goal for the day, I'm gonna get on there and do what I got to do.
You know what? I think that's fair. I had a business coach tell me one time, because there was a time where all I did on my content was just a photo of just like this here, my head, and me just telling you like what you need to do to transition from corporate to entrepreneur, right? Yeah. And whenever I did just a post of my leg or my shoulder, and it's really just a regular picture, it would get so much more engagement. And so I used to be like, I don't want people to look at me like that. I don't want people to see me like that. I want them to just get the information. Yeah. But that balance that you mentioned, that balance that you learn where maybe on the extreme is like clickbait where you like twerk a little bit, call to action. But now it seems like you know the balance.
It is. And the thing is, Ariel, like you have to accept your humanness, and you have to also accept the humanness of others and realize that people are sexual creatures. Like I understand, for me, I understand what I look like. I know what I present, and I know what people be thinking. So the fact that I know this, but I'm gonna try it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try it. You know, you get a little bit of what you want by looking at it, and then I get a little bit of what I want by having a call to action directly behind it. It's definitely a setup.
Absolutely. Rachel, hey sis in the building. She said absolutely. So we got some folks in the chat definitely participating. I love the energy, love the vibes. Let's shift a little bit to so it's always gonna be work and play vibes when we on here, right? But the one thing that you have never let us forget is that we are here to get money, right?
Yeah.
Even through all of the fun. So as you built your business, we talked a lot on the podcast around how you built it, going from and I don't want to forget the city that you're from. But you talked about how you went from the country. I do remember that part. All the way to Atlanta, going from Douglasville to Atlanta, going to the East Coast, West Coast, South Side
Yeah.
to build your business. You learned this niche of your audience, right? Like working with women, Black women, coaches, consultants, entrepreneurs. Can you share a tip, right, of how you've learned to niche into your business, find your zone of genius?
So as for the niche portion of that question, what I'm realizing for people is that you can create your niche. So when people refer to niching down, you have to create that. Some people, they try to make it seem like it's an attraction thing. Yeah, it's attraction to a certain point, but you get to choose who you want to speak to and who you want to market to and who you want to be your customer. So if you're an entrepreneur, don't ever think that you have to accept everybody's money or anything. You get to choose. So you do that by niching down and speaking to a very specific audience, because at one point in time, before I knew what I was really doing, it was like, okay, I'm speaking to Black women. Then it became I'm speaking to Black women between the ages of 29 and 45. And then it became I'm speaking to Black women 29 to 35 who are content creators. So it's levels to it. The more that you dig and you do business, you find the niche portion. And for me, it was a journey, man.
Can we talk about that? Because that's the part that I'm curious. We didn't talk about this on the podcast at all, but I think that you guys would be remiss if you didn't realize Darius is an OG in the game, not just in the hair business, but in entrepreneurship. And you've learned through the ebbs and flows.
Yeah. I'm feeling young, but they treat me like the OG for real.
You are. And so one of the things that I was thinking about, actually, it just came up. It's this disconnect between in-person sales and online, like digital sales. You're specifically a digital coach, right? So, but you started your business really like face-to-face. What was it like for you to make that transition from face-to-face, hand-to-hand sales to this digital environment?
The thing is, I think I have always, my people on Facebook, I went live on Facebook and they told me, who are you talking to? Because they just hear you. Who are you talking to? And tag it. So I got to make sure I tag. It's called the Work and Play Podcast.
Come join us on YouTube. All you gotta do is join us on YouTube.
We're on YouTube Live. Do we have a chat? Drop me the link to the chat, and I
got you. So wait a minute. Drop you a link to the chat on YouTube.
Yeah, just drop it to me in our private chat here, and then I'll drop it to them on Facebook. I'm trying to cover up because this camera got me all exposed on Facebook.
we can all we can see is your torso.
Yeah, I'm literally on. I have a camera. I got you on the computer. I have my phone on IG Live, and then I have another phone beneath me on Facebook.
On Facebook, and young people like, where do we join? How do we get in here? So let me see. How do I send you a link? Ooh, you might just tell your folks on Facebook to search on YouTube Work and Play Podcast or Work and Play. Work the letter N play. See, I love this. This is in the moment digital coaching right now. See, for those
you have to have your setup straight. So, somebody just said, I like her voice is giving boss. She's very bossy. And from the first moment I heard her voice, I liked her. I was just like, she's my type of chick. Like she's not here to play the radio with them.
Come on. Okay. Thank y'all. Thank you so much for that affirmation. Listen,
YouTube Work and Play Podcast.
Yes. Work and Play Podcast. So let's talk about it.
Okay, so to answer your question, how does it feel to go from face-to-face sales to more so of a digital thing? I think for me, it has always been digital. Even from the very first moments when I started to market myself as a travel hairdresser, I had to do it digitally. Like I did it through Craigslist. And then that evolved to taking it to Instagram. And then from Instagram to doing all these other things. So once I started the wig company, of course, I started my hair company to service the customers that I was seeing, but I quickly realized that I can serve the customers that I'm seeing in person, but I also want to service people worldwide. That's why I made the website so that people could shop wherever if they weren't in town. So it hasn't really been a hard transition, but I will say, like I said earlier, we're in a new age of being a hairdresser now. And yes, you have to, I feel like, oh, okay. So now in the age that we're in, being in person with your clients is the finish line. You build a relationship online, and then it's yeah, you build a relationship online. You do the dating and the courting process online through your booking process, you know, the conversations and the content that you post, and then you actually doing the service is the very last thing. So
so tell me this. You just gave me an idea, because I just realized, so Darius drops all the gems on business, but I think we have a prime moment for you to help us understand, how do you build that relationship when you're going from like digital relationships to in person? So for those of y'all who are just joining, we're in the conversation with Darius Boone, the digital beauty coach, which means he started off behind the chair and now he's an entrepreneur, and he does this online, making 6 and 7 figures in his business. But the question is, what are your steps now? Because you've done this, and I'm sure it's kind of like rinse and repeat. What are the steps that you go through
it's not rinse and repeat, just simply because I'm so glad that we're talking about this, because I actually want to, I started sitting down today to start doing a new piece for my courses. And it's strictly going to be about content and marketing, because it's a new age. It's not the same. And I say that simply because I have to keep constantly learning trends, figuring out new platforms, figuring out new apps, new tools, just everything, because it's constantly changing. And I think so many of us get stuck in the box, especially people in my generation, people like in their 30s, who were used to how Instagram and social media work when it first came out, and now it is a completely different ball game. When it first came out, it was more so about you just popping out, sometimes stunting, making sure that you're cute. And now it's like, no, baby, you can't just pop out when you're on vacations and be cute. You got to be on 24/7 delivering good content. And I will say, as to answer the question about how do I build a relationship. So
hold that thought real quick, because those of you guys who are still on Instagram, go ahead and join us on YouTube. We're getting ready to stop this conversation, but we love you. But if you join us on YouTube, you can get this gem that Darius is getting ready to drop right now. Click the link in my bio, go to option D, and we're gonna see you on YouTube.
Okay,
here we go. So let us know, those of y'all who are still here, you still get the juice. Darius, let us know.
Now I'm about to go live on my page, because I need the juice for my look.
Okay, well, go ahead and give it to him then.
This is the thing. It's so crazy. I know stuff about all of this, but I'm getting older, so I don't care for social media. I do it for work.
Tell me more.
I just do it for work, just because I understand the need for it, and I understand it's the very beginning. So if you think about from social media to purchase as a funnel in itself, or your social media page is the landing page. You're getting the lead. It's the landing page and it's the lead generator. You're getting the lead, and then the content is what really builds the relationship. And then when they click on your website or they book you, that is the sale. You know, and it's a funnel, but I guess in real life terms. And I understand that it needs to be done, so I do it. But you also see, I don't like be on social media all day. I can't deal with it. It's just too much.
Well, how do you start? So speaking of which, how do you actually build those relationships? How do you build those relationships? How do you start the conversation? Or do you wait for people to reach out to you? Or do you like, hey, I don't kiki in my DMs, click the link in the bio, purchase? How do you manage those relationships?
So with customers, I will say this. So the content is what starts the conversation. So if I post good content, you got to know what people are looking for on social media. You got to know the different types of contents. Are you going to be known for education, tutorials, how-tos, lifestyle, that type of stuff? Once you know that much, you can create the content. The content is what really gets people going. And then I will say what builds a relationship is the consistency in the content and the engagement. Either the engagement in the comments, I will say, and I would really say the captions is what's getting me. I can post anything, but I feel like I'm a writer more than anything. Like I can really write stuff out. So I could give it to you in word form in the comment section. And I feel like that's the connecting piece. It's like, okay, the content make you stop. It's like, okay, I got their attention. And then once you read what I say, it's just like, this nigga get my life. So that is the part that I feel like my words is what really builds a relationship with my customers. And like I was telling you before, I've been really doing a lot of work with 1111. They like to see me being authentically myself, joking, being funny, not being so uptight and professional, but also them seeing that portion of me is what helps build a relationship. So now it's just like, oh, this is just not Darius Boone, this person that's always talking about business. Like, oh, this homeboy Darius, I know I'm about to come over to 1111 page and I'm finna get a key and I'm about to see some cute wigs at the same time.
Yeah.
And then, then I get down to the comment and it's like, oh, this man really understands women. He understands our struggles. I will say speaking from people's pain points in the comments, I just did this content last week. This man, I don't even know how it happened, but it was perfect marketing. So basically this guy posted on 1111 last week in the comments, and he was just saying, I wish Black women would just wear their own real hair, kings and queens. And I literally used his comment and I created a reel just saying that I hate that Black men feel that they can have an opinion on Black women's hair when they don't understand their struggle. You have to be mindful of people's situation. And I just spoke on how women lose hair due to alopecia, giving birth to children with hormone changes, cancer, all types of situations. And it went from the page being he to me having a very serious moment with them showing a different side of me, and followers went up, sales went up, everything, because again, I spoke to people's pain points. So you just got to really be aware of your audience's problems. Like I know women don't just wear wigs just to wear wigs.
That is so important that you say that. And as a Black woman, I think that it's important that you actually show those different layers of us. You know what I mean? Like I'm a natural Black woman. So but I have said to myself, if I actually lost all my hair, I would end up going bald. But there's a whole nother layer of like embarrassment, understanding who you are, right? Learning how to love yourself. Because honestly and truly, it would take a moment for me to actually get to the point where I can get bald, right? But maybe between like having a couple locks, and I'm speaking honestly about like if I had to deal with that, the transition from going to like a lock woman to identifying with someone with hair or just not wanting to be a bald woman all the time, that would actually fulfill a part of me that I never even thought about.
Your hair is your crown, and I think that's why I am so focused on them looking natural and quality control when it comes to my wigs, because I understand like how crucial that is to a woman's confidence. And even for me, like I made a piece of content that I hadn't even posted yet, and it's speaking to women. It's just saying, like, it's basically just saying, hey sis, like you lost your hair due to this, and then I literally do this. Me too, because I lost my hair when I was about 24 years old, and that crushed my confidence. I'm supposed to be going through my prime, and I look like somebody's dad before time. So I definitely can resonate with them with, losing your hair and trying to be in denial about it. Like, oh no, it don't look that bad. And, just finally coming to terms with, it is what it is. Let me figure out different alternatives. So struggle.
Do you like the bald more now that you've settled into it?
I mean, I think it looks good on me. The only thing with the bald for me is I like to change stuff up. Like I'm a little extra and it's boring. I really wish.
Go ahead.
I just told somebody I was going to get a hair transplant. I was like, when I get my bag right, I'm going to get me some hair.
You going to get you some hair?
Yeah, because I want to be able to be bald because I want to.
Oh, so when you get a transplant, you can go bald and then you can grow it back out.
So I could give you bald head, Darius, during the summertime, and I give you a nice little fade situation during the summer, during the wintertime. A little fade with the beard. I feel like that'll look nice.
Come on. So here's the thing. If you guys are still joining and if y'all hear my voice and you still down, you rocking with us on the Work and Play podcast replay, I really want you guys to hear this, because this is the cornerstone of the Work and Play podcast. Like Work and Play was about being yourself, being able to make money, be with the people you love, enjoy the time that you spend, and get a bag, right? Yeah. And it sounds like through your life, you've learned that the through line is authenticity. not in
Absolutely.
a typical stereotypical way, but truly by just being vulnerable about and identifying with your customer. Even though you're a man, you connect with their with women on different levels.
And they love me for it.
That
They
is
love me for
amazing.
it. Yeah.
It's even different, and I'm getting serious for a bit because when it comes to, we talked about male hairstylists on
Yeah.
the podcast, and I think that as a Black woman, as I've evolved, I've actually gone through periods where I didn't like that Black men were making us out to be caricatures, right?
Yeah.
And it just felt very like I said, like characteristic, right? Not giving us all layers of Black women of
Yeah.
real experiences and the fly and the twerk and the things.
They
It's
don't
like,
give you every. You know what? I really take pride, Ariel, to not misrepresent you guys, because I understand that struggle. It's just like a Black man want to put on a wig, give you comedy of a woman being ghetto or hood, and they want to make you laugh from it, but we are the ones, it's just like not funny. Like, we're not all like that. So I try to make sure I give you a little class. I'm gonna give you a little this and a little that. So I'm very mindful of that, because I don't like that either.
and I appreciate it. So
Yeah.
so the last thing is, in your authenticity and how you've learned to live your life in this space, you've grown through the hate. You've grown through an industry that once wasn't accepting of Black male hairstylists, right? And now you're in a place where you're finding your own space. You're carving out your own life. So before we get up out of here, like, what does work and play mean to you, and how are you finding that balance in your life?
I'm still finding it. But for me, work and play is literally just being able to design my life the way that I want to. Like, I feel like I chose entrepreneurship simply for the fact that I wanted to just do what I wanted to do. I didn't want to be tied to anything. I wanted to be attachment free. I wanted to do the work that I wanted to do, the things that I'm passionate about, and still be able to live without fear of losing a job or fear of just having to worry about finances. So I guess that's the work and play for me. And I'm finally feeling like I'm getting to the play portion where it's just like, I've set things in place. I'm shifting everything and redesigning my entire life so that I can prioritize the play a little bit more, because I feel like I work so hard, and I feel like I'm going to get rich playing more, honestly.
Come on. Listen, y'all. Prioritize the play. Prioritize the play. If you don't hear nothing else, I think that might be the name of this episode. Prioritize the play.
You got to prioritize the play. I'm literally redesigning my entire life so that I can play when I want to, and then just work in between. I really wish I could share a screenshot with you of how I redid my calendar this week. Because I remember we was having a conversation in our inbox just about taking a break to kind of restructure life, because life had changed a little bit. So I finally got my new schedule together, and typically it would be like gym, pray, read, start my work day, and now it's the opposite. So on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, my schedule is I have my time with myself, my time with God. I go to the gym and I work out, and then from 8 to 10, that is my personal time to do what I want to do. So
really?
Yeah, so I can always work later.
I love that.
Yeah, it's not going nowhere. So yeah, that's how it is now. So Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 8 to 10 be my time. If I want to go hang out at pub, I'm boring. If I want to go hang out at the public, I go
in the middle of the day on a Tuesday.
If I want to go get a manicure and a pedicure in the middle of the day, I can go do that. If I want to take a nap at mid-morning, I could do that. So I definitely reprioritize my schedule to prioritize me, because I wasn't taking care of myself the way that I needed to.
Yeah, and you've been very transparent about your journey. So thank you so much. You even brought a little bit more out of me. I really, really had fun on this episode.
Me too. I'm glad. I'm mad that it got to end, because we could go for hours and hours.
No, we really could. Yeah. And here's the thing: the next time we do a live, we're gonna do somewhere. We're gonna go somewhere fun. It's gonna be at an open mic night. It's going to be, I don't know, somewhere where we can just enjoy ourselves. It's not going to even be in a setting where it's like a studio feel. It's going to be lit.
Okay, that's cool. I see Chris from Vibe Co in here now, so I'm pretty sure they got another open mic night coming soon.
Yes.
Of course, we could
definitely. Shout out Chris from Vibe Co. That's actually the first place we hung out together. Yep. Well, we did do bowling, but we hung out at
we didn't know each other then.
No, you're right.
But yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So yeah, it's been awesome. Those of you guys who are joining us in the chat, Lonnie, what's up? Rachel, Miss Cat, love y'all, love you, Mama. Shout out all the folks who are still joining us on Dave. I'm sorry, Darius's page, because you guys are amazing. Darius, before we get up out of here, do you have any? Oh, Lonnie said he want to come.
Come on. Somebody just asked me the question. Were you fearful at first stepping into your own business? I'm so afraid now because it seems harder to recover from a loss if it doesn't work. I want to answer that question.
Come
okay,
on.
so for me, Nelson, I wasn't fearful about stepping out into my business because when I first started my business, I didn't have anything. There was nothing to lose. I was young. I feel like when we start entrepreneurship later in life, we have built these lives with these things that we hold on to. So we're afraid to lose certain things. So I understand the fear that you're coming from. I feel that fear now with launching this new business that I'm working on now. Like I was telling Ariel before we started, like I've been really going hard with my 1111, but I feel like God is calling me to do something different, and it's hard for me to let go because that's my security. So yes, I understand the fear now as an adult, but when I first initially started my business, I didn't feel that fear because I was young and it was just like, I'm doing how now.
Well, let me ask you to go a step further. You recognize that security blanket that you currently have that you built in the business, and that's essentially what other folks are scared of. So what are you doing to set up yourself to, move into let go of that security blanket?
This Airbnb project, I really had to sit down and I had to strategize how I needed life to look and how I needed my finances to look. So for me, I think we talked about this on the episode. When I left the salon, I didn't realize what I was really, really doing. Like I didn't really have an exit strategy. I kind of was just like, F this, I'm out, I'm done, I'm about to do something different. And it quickly hit me probably about 6 months later, once my savings ran out. It was just like, you just walked away from a 6-figure job to be the CEO of this 6-figure business, but this 6-figure business can't pay you the same 6-figure salary that you had. So now that I'm in this place where it's like trying to navigate and figure out everything, it's like, okay, so I talked to God, and the conversation just kept being, use what you got, use what you got, use what you got. I have this house. I live in this house by myself. So, I'm just like, okay, I always wanted to try Airbnb. So let's turn this house into an Airbnb and let's figure it out. Also during the pandemic, I don't know if I told you this, but I invested into a wing restaurant.
No, you didn't.
So yeah, I'm a partner in a wing. I'm a silent partner in a restaurant. So they pay me quarterly. So, it's just like, okay, this is what your income used to be in the shop. So let's figure it out. I literally had to sit down and do the math. I was like, okay, so this restaurant is doing, I know if they do X amount of dollars per quarter, I'm going to get this per month, this per quarter. So where we are right now, it's like, okay, if the restaurant does this, looking at last quarter's projections, this is business for real, for real. Looking at last quarter's projection, I know that next quarter, once I get my quarterly check, this quarterly check should be enough to cover my living expenses for my house and everything inside of the house for the next quarter. So that takes all my living expenses away. So now it's just like, okay, so now it's just me. So now it's like, okay, what can we create to take us up another level? So I'm like, okay, if I do this Airbnb, I'm a number cruncher. I crunched the numbers. I was like, so if I do this, and this, I can make work. Just from the house that I stay in. I literally remember saying, I'll move. I will leave.
And travel. You said it on your story, I'll travel.
Yeah, I will. And the thing is, I have literally, since then, you've been seeing me do the renovations, but the thing is, I feel like due to me being an entrepreneur in my 20s, like I feel like I lost out on a lot of time with my family because I live away. So it's just like, oh, so if I book the house on Airbnb, I can go home for a week just to spend time with my mom, my grandma, my dad. I can see, usually when I go home, I'm there for like a day or two at a time and I'm not able to see everybody, but it's like, I can really, spend time.
Yes.
With my friends from back at home.
Because that's the thing. The best part of being an entrepreneur on the days where we really get to enjoy it, it's when you just get to sit down and not have to rush about, I got to be at work, or you can go in the middle of the day and go hang out with somebody who just so happened to be off because you got time, right? The hard part for like a lot of people is being able to transition and be focused during that time when they need to build the business. But what you're talking about is that financial freedom, that time freedom that people desire to have, which is, I want to be able to spend time the way I want to spend it.
Yeah, That's definitely what it is. Like I'm really recognizing what time freedom really is. And I think for me, most of us get in entrepreneurship for money or for time freedom. And the thing is, you don't get the time freedom until the back end of it. When I was in the salon, I didn't have time freedom. That's why I feel like I missed out on so much. I worked every single weekend. You know, I never had time. So when my friends, when I was off on Sundays and Mondays, everybody was preparing to go to work or already at work. So now for me, where I'm at now, like my schedule, how I have it set up now, I work Monday through Friday. So on the weekends, I can't have time to. So when my friends come to town, I'm on Saturdays, Sundays, I'm cool. I could do whatever. I just told my VA today, I was like, we need to change our Friday meetings because baby, after a certain time on Friday, we're not doing none of that.
Friday, like literally setting that boundary. You also said before we started, before we went live, you were talking about building relationships, and I think you might have mentioned a group that you just joined, or tell me what that was.
So it's not even a group that I just joined. It's this guy that I follow on Facebook, and he is a prophetic business coach. So if you already know I like to read, I'm very spiritual. So his content really speaks to me. So I just started to tune in more. So he has this prophetic business class on Monday mornings at 7:00. His name is Mark Coley. I think he actually is in my Facebook Live watching. And so I just started listening to it on Mondays. And just to hear people talk about business from a biblical standpoint just knocked the socks off of me. But this morning I was listening and he had like a co-host on, and the co-host was just randomly calling people out, like just speaking to them, just like, God want me to tell you this. And I'm literally getting in the car this morning on the way to the gym, and he was like, Darius. And I was just like, hey, this man, I'm gonna grab the recording and I'm gonna grab the recording, I'm gonna make it into some content. And this is what he said to me. He was like, I'm looking at your picture, because I wasn't live on the Zoom. I just had like, my little avatar up. He was like, I'm looking at the picture and it's visually appealing. So I feel like you in the beauty industry or something like this. So I'm like, okay. So he proceeds to tell me, he was just like, I can just see you with a mannequin head and some scissors. And, he was like, I see you in LA, Chicago. He was like, I see you in New York, Chicago, Miami, LA. And I love California. He just started to speak these things on me. And the thing was, I was so shook that I didn't ask the question that I really needed to ask. I should have asked, like, do you see me in these places as a hairdresser? Or do you see me being an educator of hairdressers? Because for me, I don't have any desire to be a stylist anymore. But I love helping people in the beauty industry because I understand the struggle and the journey that it is. And I can only imagine how hard it is now that it is so saturated the way that it is. But that it was just like, I always find myself in places that I need to find myself in.
He spoke a word.
Spoke a word, girl. I was literally getting, I was putting my gym bag in the car and I was just like, what?
Which lets you know you're in the right space.
It did.
That kind of stuff lets you know you're in alignment.
Yeah, I was just shook because I was just like, he talking to me right now. And I had to, when he started talking, I went to sit back in the house and listen. I was just like, we're not going to go nowhere right now.
We're about to sit here. We got to sit down and listen, take it in.
I want to know what God is telling you, because sometimes, I do a lot of movement and I can't hear him. And I think that's why I try to prioritize and have my life set up the way that it is now, where I take that time for myself, because most of us entrepreneurs, we are on go all the time. And when you are a true entrepreneur, you're on go all the time because you're the content creator, you're the manager, you're the customer service rep, you're the editor, you're these things. So I really had to start to prioritize taking some time for myself, because I feel like when I'm just out here trying to do it all on my own, I miss the mark all the time. So I be needing to like talk to God and just sit in silence. And I need to hear that inner voice say to me, like, okay, this is what we need to do. Like, I remember asking, that's why I'm doing the Airbnb. Like, I remember asking God, I was like, I got so much on my plate that I'm trying to juggle right now. And I feel like I'm always being pulled in so many different directions. I'm always saying yes. And I'm always, helping other people that I feel like I'm missing the mark when it comes to myself. And the answer was just like, make sure that you're straight first. And I was like, and how do I do that? It's like, set you up the passive income so that if you have this Airbnb running, and you have this restaurant running where you get this check, whether you sell a wig or sell a course, you're not going to care. You're going to be able to give it to them the way that they need to have it because you're passionate about it. It's not going to revolve around the money. Yeah. So that was the answer. I was just like, oh, make sure I'm straight. Cool.
Make sure you straight. Figure out the systems. Shout out to my mama. She said, "Be still." Just like you said, be still, because you decided I'm not even about to go out into the world. I'm about to sit right here and receive this word. And honestly and truly, I think that it's also in my life as well, because I create all these systems where my life, the business is actually running. Things are on autopilot, right? Yeah. And now I get a chance to just sit down and hear what alignment actually feels like, sounds like, looks like, feels like. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you understanding peace for real.
It's actually getting there, right? Yeah. But it took a minute of me just focusing on like the business systems and the automation. And now that everything is set up, I get to focus on just being. Yeah. And I'm excited to see what that next chapter looks like. And for someone to speak into my life as well, you know what I mean? Because that.
Don't worry, babe. I'm gonna send you the link.
Yeah, I was actually gonna be like, I might need to know about that, because I was actually having a conversation with a friend of mine, and I'm not gonna hold you forever, but.
Girl, I told you I don't have no. We're cool. Or yeah, we need us to do this anyway, so I'm cool.
Absolutely. Listen, my mama said peace of mind is priceless, and it absolutely is, because I was having a conversation with someone the other day, and I said, you know, the closer you, the deeper you get into entrepreneurship, the closer you need to get to God. The more you need that spiritual connection, because it's different when you on this autopilot 9 to 5, you go to work. And I'm not saying that people in corporate America in 9 to 5 don't need spiritual connection, but when you spending a Tuesday going to the merchant in the middle of the day and somebody just pull up on you, and you got to have these biblical conversations with somebody, I feel like you have to be in tune with yourself, especially when you don't have this planned out structure already available to you. Yeah. You have to provide structure for yourself, and your spiritual connection is what allows you to do that. And because we are in this space, being able to teeter between entrepreneurship and spirituality in a way that makes us feel at peace and makes us feel whole is most important.
Absolutely. I just feel like if you aren't spiritual and you don't have a good relationship with God, you will lose yourself. And I feel like I have lost myself between business and men. I feel like I don't lost myself so many different times. It's this song by Beyonce called Find Your Way Back. I have to listen to that all the time, because it's just, I just get it. It's like, you have to find your way back to yourself over and over and over again. And once you get there, I think I'm gonna be here for a while, just because it's like, I value this so much more than anything, anyone, just making sure that I'm okay with myself. And like, I will go ghost on social media for a while. Like, I just don't believe the hype anymore. Like, I sit here and I look at people. You need to make sure that you post 3 times a day. You need to make sure that you do this. No, you need to make sure that you're okay.
Yeah. Ooh, y'all, we robbed the bank today. I could not have positioned this conversation anymore. I needed it. We got Darius, who is super duper, like, one of the most authentic people that I've met in the community. Someone who just reached out to me and spoke to me. Listen, it wasn't like just a facade of a connection. It was definitely deeper from the beginning, and I really appreciate that. And we got my family in the chat, chat it up. You got your people asking questions. Now, if you have any more questions, feel free to address them before we get up out of here.
More questions. But yeah, Ari, when I saw you, I think for me as a man, especially a gay man, like, I really see women. Like, I feel like some men just see women and be like, I see her, but it's like, no, like, this is my type of chick. Like, I remember seeing you in the bowling alley, and I'm just like, I like her. And
then from that point on, we was just cool.
And I told you that. I'm like, I like you.
I like you too. And those of you guys who don't know, I needed this conversation 100%. I think that one thing that you said was between business and men. If y'all just don't know, like, being able to, as a woman, I'll say my journey of entrepreneurship has been one where you have to be focused on building your business, be focused on making the money, be focused on doing the things, right? And at the same time, you want to build a relationship, especially if you're a woman who wants to be married in a committed relationship, that kind of thing, right? So I identify with, and we started talking about how you identify with your clients, right? Even as a man, right? And here we are again. That is absolutely a journey. It's just like being able to sit down, and this is the thing. And I feel this way about my hair. So I know women who need to, like, connect with the person who's either doing their hair or purchasing a product from them. I need you to know that what I've been through is affecting my curls. It's affecting the way that I do my hair, my dandruff, right? It's affecting the way that I live because I'm stressing out trying to keep my business ahead while I'm crying my eyes out about a dude that I just met. You know what I'm saying? That struggle right there.
3 days you be in love. It's me. It is me. It's
Did
me.
you say 3 days? Did you say 3 days?
Me too. I don't start planning my life. Like I don't start planning my life.
Listen, come on. I think that let's speak about that because I feel like that's because as an entrepreneur, we have a schedule. We have to stick to it. We have routines, right? And so if we meet someone, if we meet them on chance, like on my lunch break or something, like I'm just going out at the park and we meet, I'm going back to this routine. So I feel like oftentimes it takes 3 days because they be getting into the routine, and now all of a sudden we playing house.
And then you want to know what? Do you want to know what make you fall out of the love quickly once they come in? Oh my gosh, I just had this conversation with somebody last night. I'm just like, why do y'all do that? Like you come in with the routine. You come in with the routine to get my attention. Then you get my attention, and then you break the routine. And now I'm just like,
come on, say that.
I have straight homeboys, and me and my straight homeboys have the best conversations because I guess they can't really talk to women about certain things, or they just not vulnerable enough. So I have to lay into them and give them the words that y'all be wanting to give them. I'm just like, why would you do that? I told her from the jump I didn't want nothing. It's like, well, if you didn't want anything, why would you go through all of this to get her attention? You want to I just want to have sex with her, and I'm just like, if that's what you wanted, just do that and leave it at that. But no, I also be wanting to go out to dinner, and I be wanting to do. You want to date her? Like, pick a side. Either you want to just do that or not. It's so much confusion. I feel like men blur lines all the time, and I think for me, that's why people always. Every time I do an interview, the first thing I ask, "Are you dating anybody? Are you single?" It's like, yes, I am single because I don't give. I don't give them the opportunity to play with me. The moment that I start to see certain things, I'm a routine man. So once we have established some type of rapport with each other and we start going in a certain flow, the moment things start to change, I just told somebody this yesterday. The moment things start to change, I'm going to speak on it one time. Hey, what's going on? I'm seeing, this change in energy. Like, is everything okay? You want to talk to me about anything? Either you're going to say what's up and you're going to fix it, or you're going to continue to, they'll start to move funny with you. And once you start moving funny, I got to move on. Like, it's just that simple. I call myself the slide king because I'm
about to slide. Now, let me tell you how on time this conversation is. Because for those of you guys who are avid work and play podcasters, whether you watching it live or on the replay, work and play absolutely is about blurred lines, but you have to be able to, like, as an entrepreneur, keep a routine, keep a schedule, be able to stay consistent in your business, in your life. Say that again.
I like my lines crispy.
Especially in relationships. I think that's the most important. That's where we're going with this. Because even though like work and play can happen, you have to establish clear boundaries. And I like what you said, giving them one time. Like when the routine is off, you automatically, your spidey senses are like, hey, we've been doing this thing for 3-4 weeks straight.
And baby, I'm a detective. I'm going to find out. I'm going to find.
And who got time for that? But who got time for that though?
And that's the thing I have to tell myself. I had to really tell myself because I dealt with something for such a long time that was just traumatic to me. I had to tell myself because I get very passive. Like I'm very, very direct, but then I start to get very, very passive, and I don't want to be that type of person. And I had to tell myself, if I have to play get back, I got to get gone. So if I can start trying to switch up how I act or try to match your energy, no, I got to go ahead and get on because I'm an energy shifter. So it's going to be whatever I'm on anyways. So I have to just go ahead and get up out of the way.
Come on, listen. Now I really could have you here all day, but one thing I do know is you said you're about to go to this movie, so I want you to enjoy it. And the second thing I want you to do is I want you to let us know. This is your moment to give a word, because there are people out here who aspire to have that work and play lifestyle, right? And you've reached a level financially and work-life balance wise and relationship wise, being able to establish these boundaries where you've understood, a couple of things, even though we still are learning, a couple of things, right? Yeah. So as we are on our journey, working on becoming an entrepreneur, learning how to find that work-life balance, What are some of the things that you do know? And what are some of the things that you're still learning?
Some things that I do know, um, when it comes to, I tell people this all the time. If you are a business owner, in order for your business to grow, you got to grow as a person. I would not have the things that I have or the setup that I have if I didn't evolve and change my way of thinking and about so many different things: business, money, people. Um, I could just give it to you all day and right here on that. You have to really humble yourself. And most, I had a moment oh my gosh, I had a moment the other day where it's just like, you need to humble yourself. And it's just like, are we not humble? But it was just like, you need to humble yourself even more. So when you think you're humble, and I will say this, I don't think that humility is different for me with other people. People say that you should be humble to others. I feel like humility is between you and God, not you and other people.
That's
So,
good.
so because people are like, you need to humble yourself.
Humble yourself when you get in the room.
No, if you look up the definition of humble, you're not gonna want to be that. So that's not it. It's thinking less of yourself. But, humble yourself with God and just really allow him to do his thing with you. Like, I feel like so many of us entrepreneurs always want to be in control. And one of the best things that I could have done for myself was just let go. I had a period last year where I was just, last year and early this year, just like a dark depression. And the key to getting out of that is letting go of everything and really allowing things to be what it is. Like literally just throwing it all up in the air, letting it fall down and see where it lands, and then navigating around it. With business, just, oh my gosh, be mindful that we live in a completely different time right now, and the way that things used to work pre-pandemic is not how things work now. So study the trends, study the people who are successful, but study them to see the systems. I'm the king of remember I was telling you about that prophetic business class. Yes, he spoke to me, but I signed up so that I could see his flow. So many of us don't like to spend money with other people. I will say, spend money with other people because you definitely need the information. People be knowing what they're talking about, and you have to really sow. That's what they mean by sowing in your business. Like, you really have to invest in yourself, but also peep the structure. So I sign up for stuff all the time. Me and you are in the morning meetup. I signed up for the morning meetup, and the first thing that I started to peep was the structure of it. Like, how is this ran? What automations do they have in place? What type of things? So you have to study business. You can't just study how people market things. You got to actually study the operations and how the flow and how it actually works. How is it profitable? And study that, and then apply that to yourself. And don't be afraid to reinvent the wheel, because I think us as Black people, we have this thing about copying other people. I don't want her to feel like I'm copying her. Baby, I'm going to copy. I'm going to copy, and then I'm going to get my homeboy, and we're going to look at it together. We're going to copy it together, because success, it's a formula. If it's successful for other people, it can be successful for you. Only thing that you have to do is put your own sauce and your own spin on it. I have had a business best friend for years who's in the hair industry with me. We both do the same exact thing. We both are like beauty industry coaches at this point, but we both were behind the check at the same time. We used to literally work ourselves together. Like, we would sit down, do our numbers. We're going to do this bundle deal. We're going to do this bundle deal. We have two completely different audiences. We launched into the same campaign, but with different faces. Nice. So we need to think less about competition and more about camaraderie. Less competition, more camaraderie, and more character.
Come on, 3 C's.
Yeah.
If y'all not taking notes, you should have, but it's okay if you haven't, because we're going to catch this on the replay and it will be available to you. Absolutely. Because listen, that was amazing. Darius, you go in and out. You go in and out through realness, honesty, truth, business gems. I really, really appreciate it. And I've enjoyed it since the moment I met you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Those of you guys who are watching us on the replay, I'm so blessed for y'all to be here. And I'm really happy that you got a chance to catch this great conversation that we just had.
Yes.
If y'all are trying to figure out how do you get connected with Darius, or how do you purchase from him, or how do you learn from him, Darius, what's the best way for them to get connected with you, and what are you offering these days?
The best day to get connected with me is definitely through social media, whether it's going to be on Facebook or Instagram. Instagram is Darius_Boone. If you're looking for a top-notch wig, you can go and follow me at 1111 Extensions. That page is dedicated strictly to wig content. If you're looking more for motivational, personal development, business development things, you can follow me on Instagram. I am still tweaking my offer suite, but I'm working on some things for y'all. Like like your mama said, I've been being still. Like I feel like we be in such a rush to, let me hurry up and do this and drop this, and let me hurry up and do this. I'm putting my Beyonce on this thing this time. I'm taking my time. I'm curating exactly what it is that I want and what the people need. So when I get ready to drop, it's going to be something specifically for my beauty industry people, because we don't have that. And I'm gonna be giving it to you from every angle, everything that you think that everybody's out here teaching how to do the skill. I'm going to run that back end portion into the ground, because we got to just be better professionals.
Yes.
So if you beauty industry professional, hair, lash, makeup, barbering, you make wigs, tap into the IG page.
Tap in. All right, y'all. Thank you so much. Mama, Miss, hey, cousin Kathy in the building. Thank y'all for being here.
Kathy.
Hey. Y'all have a good one. Enjoy y'all Monday night. Peace out.
Bye. I'm still